What is up, guys? Welcome back. Today is a video that I have been promising you guys for far too long without executing on it. It is demystifying the nuanced differences between all of the Chantecaille based products, all of their foundations and concealers, what have you. So if you're unfamiliar, the reason that this even needs demystifying is because Chantecaille makes a whole menagerie of very low coverage foundation, concealer, base, complexion products, and they can all seem very, very similar when you're just looking at them. You're like, oh, okay, so low coverage, tinted moisturizer, cushion foundation, gel foundation, like what is the difference? These are really expensive. It would be helpful to know. So I went ahead and bought all of them, and I'm going to try and help with that today. And I did take some close-ups in natural light so that you guys can hopefully see what I'm talking about, but I will also try and describe it as best that I possibly can. That's always my mission on my channel. And I will give you guys very in-depth descriptions and, again, try and explain the nuances between them. But at the end, and I will put a timestamp if that's what you really want to jump to, I'm just going to give you guys a quick and dirty smash or pass on all of them. So without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so starting with the Chantecaille Futureskin Cushion. I will stick the price on the screen for all of these. I know some of them off the top of my head and others I don't. So I have this in the shade Aura. I used to have Alabaster. That will come in later on in the video when we talk about another one of them. But this is a perfect shade match for me, and out of all of these, this is the one that has the lowest coverage, and the finish on it is a little bit, I don't want to say matte, but it's blurring, and it's so low coverage on my arbitrary scale of coverage. I think that this is like a 0.5, might build to a 1. You know, if I actually dip a concealer brush in there and try and conceal a zit or something, you might get a little bit more, but we're not talking about any kind of coverage situation. It's going to mainly look like your skin with a really beautiful blurred finish on it. This is incredibly special. I cannot compare anything to this formula, which was this being the first foundation that I tried from them. It was the reason I was even motivated to try other ones, because again, huge investment. I could have just said bye, but I wanted to try the other ones because I was like, okay, I get it. There's something special about Chantecaille and I want to know more. So this has a really beautiful finish that doesn't just look great on my skin, but I mean, I gave Alabaster, the first shade that I ended up buying, to my mother because it matched her, and she's 63, and it looked great on her mature skin as well. So I think that that's a lot of what the selling point is for these skincare based foundations and skincare based makeup lines to begin with, is that, you know, obviously if you've got Botox and you're doing all your regular peels and everything like me, then a lot of things are gonna look pretty nice. But when you are kind of getting into your skin naturally beginning to age and crease and things like that, formulas start to fall flat because you don't want things settling into lines, and you don't want things looking really bizarre and covering you up in weird places, or not covering, looking unnatural basically over the day. And my mom loves this stuff because it's so low coverage, but it makes this beautiful finish on the skin. It's a long wearing for what it is because it's blurring, and it's just really an exquisite formula. $128 is crazy, and you only get, I mean, you get 2 cushions, but still, I feel like, and I've heard from you guys, that the cushions dry up pretty quickly, so it's not a perfect delivery system in my opinion. Plus it's a little bit bulky, but I could see this being such a holy grail for some people because it's so unique. Again, as soon as I tried this, I was like, I love this, and I can't compare it to anything else. But I mean, be prepared, you almost can't see this. It's so light coverage. Okay. Then we have the other side of the spectrum. So this is the Justskin Tinted Moisturizer from Chantecaille, and this is their only one with sunscreen in it. So this is the Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 15. I always have to say SPF 15 is not enough, especially in your makeup, because you're not gonna put on enough makeup to get the SPF anyway, because if we're talking about a physical SPF, like, you need a lot. So always wear another SPF with this, but it's nice to have a little extra. And I have this in the shade Alabaster, at least where I bought this from, which I think was Skin Store. Alabaster was the fairest shade that they had in this, and that was why I ended up going with this, and it is a little bit yellow for me. And I think that because of the titanium dioxide, it does blend out okay, because titanium dioxide tends to have like a white cast to it a little bit, and this has 10.157% titanium dioxide, and so it works okay. This is the dewiest of them as far as their complexion, their actual foundation products, because it's a tinted moisturizer. It doesn't have that like I don't know, almost mattified, blurred kind of finish that the Futureskin Cushion does. It's much more, I consider it more dupeable. You know, this is the one that's like not the one to write home about necessarily, but it probably does have skincare ingredients in it and stuff like that that, you know, makes it worth the price. But you get 1.7 ounces here. This is definitely like the best bang for your buck one, but it's also, I feel like the least unique and also the least inclusive shade range. So what's Goldilocks, you might ask? The original Futureskin. And someone asked me to try the Futureskin. I thought they meant the Futureskin Cushion, so that's the one I tried. And then she was like, no, I meant the other one. And I was like, good, you enabled me to buy this because I really wanted to try it anyway. So I have this again in the shade Aura, and it is squarely in the middle of that blurred finish that you get from the Futureskin Cushion and the bounciness that you get from the tinted moisturizer. It's right there in the middle, and it is just so nice. And when you put it on, it is foolproof. They're all foolproof, but this one's really, really foolproof. They call it an oil-free gel foundation, and that's what it feels like. It's this hydrating gel that feels like a drink of water on your skin, and my skin just loves it. It just loves it, and it dries down. Even though it is kind of bouncier looking than the Futureskin Cushion, and not quite as bouncy looking as the tinted moisturizer, it has a difference between when you put it on and when it's done kind of drying on your skin. And they all, for what they really promise, which is, you know, such light coverage, they all wear a pretty long time, which is nice. And they wear in nicely. The only misgiving I might have about recommending this is if you are weirded out by something just being in an open tub like this, but it is not something that really bothers me, and I don't know, I see it more as like a skincare product. I dip my fingers in skincare products all the time. Oh, I should say, I would put this at about a 1.52 in terms of coverage, and I would put this at like a solid 1.5 in terms of coverage. And yeah, it would also probably build to a 2. These are really similar in terms of coverage. But I get why this is also sort of the fan favorite. It's just really agreeable. I could see it working on so many different skin types, skin ages. It is super nourishing while still being oil-free. I've worn it in the bitter cold, and I've worn it in 90-degree heat. We've had those in the same week in the last week, so you know, I have lots of opportunities. But I can also apply like powder products on top of this, absolutely no problem. Like if you're looking for something that has, you know, pretty low coverage and looks like skin and can agree with all the rest of your makeup products, this could be your only foundation, which would justify the, you know, again, crazy Chantecaille price. Next, we have something that is kind of a hybrid concealer foundation product. So this is their Real Skin Plus Eye and Face Stick. I have only used this as a concealer because it's really intense. I would never use this all over my face because it just doesn't have the most agreeable blend to it. If you are looking for something like this, I would highly recommend the Bare Pro concealer from Bareminerals. It's way better, it's way smoother, it's way less expensive, and it's still a clean product, quote unquote. This just is sort of a miss for me. It's a little bit greasy, and I feel like it breaks up on me really quickly. I like it because it does have good coverage and it cooperates with the rest of their products really well, and I know that it's like good for my skin, but like under my eyes, it sells me out. It really doesn't look cute. It's one of those products that's very low tech. I feel like their foundations are very high tech. This is a very low tech, not super high performing product. It feels like clean beauty. You know, the other ones feel like prestige beauty. This feels like a simple formula. You bought it at Whole Foods, you know, that's what it feels like. It just feels like a regular cream makeup stick. There's just not a lot of there. And then finally, I have the Camouflage Stylo, which was among the first things that I tried. I tried this with the Futureskin Cushion initially. My mother also loved this because it's brightening and it's not necessarily a concealer. And I think that in a lot of ways, there is a big market for people who want brightening without concealing because concealer starts to look unnatural on your skin as you get older. You know, it would have to be the right concealer, so to speak. And she tends to have very puffy under eyes. So it's not necessarily that she's trying to like conceal dark circles or something. She just wants something to brighten it out and brighten it up and kind of flatten it out a little bit. And she just really liked this. She doesn't have melasma to cover or anything like that. And so for her, it being so lightweight was worth it. But for me, I I just think there are better brightening products on the market, and it's very expensive. It's like $55. I don't think that you need to spend that amount of money on this. It's just not, again, like the holy grail kind of thing that I was expecting. I thought it was going to have more of a brightening property to it. It doesn't really do either one well on me. It doesn't necessarily like brighten or color correct all that well on me, like, you know, a Becca under eye brightening corrector. And it also doesn't conceal enough to really justify wearing it as a concealer. I much prefer the e.l.f. version of this, which is their Flawless Brightening Concealer. It actually acts as a concealer and a brightener, and it's like $1. Yeah, this just didn't really do it for me. And again, I think I got the lightest shade in this, and it's still a little bit dark for me, but I could be wrong. I will correct myself if I'm wrong. Oh, and as far as dupes are concerned, I'm sorry, I should have also said the only thing that comes close to duping the original Futureskin is the Elate Cosmetics. That thing is amazing, and it reminds me so much of this, and it is much more cost effective. So I'm not sure what their shade range is like. I think this shade range is better, but that one comes in glass. It's, I mean, beautiful. Wow, that stuff is pretty. It's just hard to find. So I think that this is more readily available as well. But if you are, I think in the US, maybe Canada might be able to get it, but the Elate Cosmetics, it is so similar to this, the same cooling texture on the skin, clean ingredients, etc. So, quick and dirty, smash or pass. Smash, smash, pass, pass, pass. And those all come with, you know, built-in nuances. If that's the only part of the video you watched, do not comment down below why. Because you could have watched the rest of the video and I would have told you why. So watch the rest of the video if you're curious as to why, but if you just skip to that part, those are my final thoughts. And my absolute tippy top favorite is my just Goldilocks, right squarely in the middle of everything that I would have hoped for. For my skin, I'm 34 years old and I do wear lots of sunscreen. I do have Botox. I do, you know, get peels regularly and things like that. So please understand that this all comes with those caveats. Like if you have I have dry skin, if you have completely different skin than I do, then this might not be your perfect foundation. But from my standpoint, this is it. This is the one. So that is my demystification, hopefully, of the Chantecaille base products. I made it really quick for you guys, so I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep hanging out with me on this channel, hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you guys did. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me today, guys. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.